every day in the wetlands, it was oppressively hot. You know, like the Amazon is 110 degrees and 100% humidity. The wetlands was very similar, and it was just oppressive. By midday, you couldn't do anything outside anymore. So in the morning, I would spend all my time boiling water, collecting firewood, and fishing. Then around noon, I would strip down and I'd head down to the watering hole. Now the wetlands is the world's largest wetlands, called the Pantanal Rainforest. And normally in this area, there's around 4 or 5 feet of water all the time. But this was their dry season. So right now, everything was condensed down into small ponds, about half the size of this room. And in those ponds, the jaguar and the pumas and the emus and the alligators, these caiman that are there, and everything would come together and they'd all try to eat each other. And so you'd be sleeping at night not too far away, and something would scream as it was pulled down into the water. And the screaming noise, something else was eating it. So, like any logical person, I decided that every day around noon, I would go and cool down in the water. Right? Makes sense? That's what a logical, intelligent person would do. So I'd go and I'd slide down the greasy bank towards the water, and I'd sit in the water and cool down. And I was so thankful for the nice, cool water. All I would do is just focus on the fact that I could get some of my clothes wet, and I could wear these, and I'd be cool for a little while. It was just, the heat out there is so oppressive, it sucks the life out of you, and I needed something to find that was pleasurable, something that I could enjoy, and that was really comforting. It didn't take long, though, while I was there, is that Helga, the caiman. There's no Helgas in this room, I hope. I don't mean to offend anybody, but I named her Helga. She seemed particularly grumpy. And she would swim underneath the water towards me. And the ripples would come closer. And then about 10 feet away, she'd surface. And then she'd bark at me in this distinctive caiman bark that they do to kind of warn you to get out of there. And I'd scramble up the clay bank to try to get out of there before she'd get me. And it's like, okay, you can have your pond back. You're the queen of the pond. I understand that. But you have to find small things to be thankful for. Sure, yeah, there were things that were trying to eat me there, but for a few minutes there, I was nice and cool. This is lunch in the Amazon. You have to be thankful for things now, okay? Remember, when I was in the Amazon, I found these little coconuts, and I cut one of them open. And I thought, great, there's coconut. I can finally eat something good, right? Inside of it, it's all rotten and moldy, and there's 2 of these larvae in there. And I thought, oh, man, there's no way I'm going to eat those, and I tossed them away. After about 4 days of not eating, they started to look kind of tasty. I thought about them a little bit, and was like, oh, boy, I don't know. I went and got 2 of them, and skewered them on a little stick and roasted them over the fire. And I popped one of them in my mouth. That's the face you make when you bite into a larva. Kind of that, These are the cream-filled kind. I don't know if you're familiar with those. Kind of an explosion of flavor as you bite into them. They're a little rough. But you have to find things to be thankful for, right? There are many obstacles standing in my way between me and happiness. Many things that tried to keep me from finding joy while I was out there. Okay, I wasn't going to let Helga stop me from being thankful for the little bit of water that I had. Who's your Helga? No, don't point them out. We don't want to get anybody in trouble here, okay? Don't be pointing people out. But think about that. Who's your Helga? You know, what stands in your way, or what is your Helga? Are you going to let this Helga stand in the way of your happiness? Are you going to let someone dictate how your day goes? We have to focus on the good things. See, when we focus on the negative things, the negative problems get huge. They get overwhelming. They get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're overwhelming. There's no way we can deal with them. Focus on the positive things. Those negative things start to shrink. Helgas start to shrink. Okay, the fact that I'm eating larvae and bugs are falling on my face while I'm sleeping, those things start to shrink when you think about the good things and find things to be thankful for.